Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody. This is The Art of War. Chapter 2 is on waging war. In the operations of war, where there are in the field 1,000 swift chariots, 10,000 heavy chariots, and 100,000 small-clad soldiers, with provisions enough to carry them 1,000 li, which is a mile, approximately. The expenditure at home and at the front, including entertainment of guests, small items such as glue and paint, and sums spent on chariots and armor, will reach the total of 1,000 ounces of silver per day. Such is the cost of raising an army of 100,000 men. When you engage in actual fighting, if victory is long in coming, the weapons will grow dull and their ardor will be dampened. If you lay siege to a town, you will exhaust your strength. And if the campaign is protracted, the resources of the state will not be equal to the strain. Never forget, when your weapons are dulled, your ardor dampened, your strength exhausted, and your treasure spent, other chieftains will spring up to take advantage of your extremity. Then no man, however wise, will be able to avert the consequences that must ensue. Thus, though we have heard of stupid haste in war, cleverness has never been seen associated with long delays. In all history, there is no instance of a country having benefited from prolonged warfare. Only one who knows the disastrous effects of a long war can realize the supreme importance of rapidity in bringing it to a close. It is only one who is thoroughly acquainted with the evils of war who can thoroughly understand the profitable way of carrying it on. The skillful general does not raise a second levy, neither are his supply wagons loaded more than twice. Once war is declared, he will not waste precious time in waiting for reinforcements, nor will he turn his back for fresh supplies, but crosses the enemy's frontier without delay. The value of time, that is, being a little ahead of your opponent, has counted for more than either numerical superiority or the nicest calculations with regard to commiserate. Bring war material with you from home, but forage on the enemy. Thus the army will have enough food for its needs. Poverty of the state exchequer causes an army to be maintained by contributions from a distance. Contributing to maintain an army at a distance causes the people to be impoverished. On the other hand, the proximity of an army causes prices to go up, and high prices cause people's substance to be drained away. When their substance is drained away, they will be afflicted by heavy exactions. With the loss of substance and exhaustion of strength, the homes of people will be stripped bare and their incomes dissipated. At the same time, government expenses for broken chariots, worn out horses, breastplates and helmets, bows and arrows, spears and shields, protective mantlets, oxen and heavy wagons will amount to almost half of its total revenue. A wise general makes a point of foraging on the enemy. One cartload of the enemy's provisions is equivalent to 20 of one's own. And likewise, a single pickle, which is a Chinese unit of weight measuring 133 pounds, is equivalent to 20 from one's own stores. Now, in order to kill the enemy, our men must be roused to anger. For them to perceive the advantage of defeating the enemy, they must also have their rewards. Thus, when you capture spoils from the enemy, they must be used as rewards. so that your men will have a keen desire to fight, each on his own account. Therefore, in chariot fighting, when 10 or more chariots have been taken, those should be rewarded who took the first. Our own flags should be substituted for those of the enemy, and the chariots mingled and used in conjunction with ours. The captured soldiers should be kindly treated and kept. This is called using the conquered foe to augment one's own strength. In war, then, let your great object be victory, not lengthy campaigns. Thus it may be known that the leader of armies is the arbiter of the people's fate, the man on whom it depends whether the nation shall be in peace or in peril. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to go on to the next chapter. I know it's only a couple pages. Today is August 12th, 2021. And I'm sure everybody can associate, especially the United States, with its current behavior with the warnings from Sun Tzu. It can be applied to everything, really. It can be applied to bringing out a new product if you're a business. Speed to marketplace does make a difference. Just like Blitzkrieg, method with which the Germans launched attacks in Europe, they basically had driven through their objective before the enemy even knew what hit them. So it was over before it began. That's the advantage of speed. Now in physics, the term force is the product of mass and acceleration. So mass times acceleration equals force. So if you have a large force, right, then you could have a large mass, or you could have a smaller mass and the varying speed, right? A bullet is pretty small, but it's fired rapidly, can put you down. A lava flow, huge masses, a tidal wave, right? That body of water. But you have to really think about who's been running the United States for the last 100 years, because it's a critical point from that chapter. The victor sucks out the life of the loser, right? The United States appears to be a victor, but in reality, there's some parasite somewhere behind the scenes that probably isn't too far behind the scenes that has set up the system to suck the life out of everybody else. Definitely a feudal society in many ways, the way it's set up. And it's very cleverly done because it gives you the illusion of freedom. And that's why I'm just going to end it here by saying anybody who is not really familiar with George Carlin or may just know it, his works later on in his life were spot on. He talked about politicians, about freedom, about our Bill of Rights and the Constitution. And those really should be required listening for anybody who is wondering what's going on. When they took the United States off the gold standard, right? First of all, gold, FDR made gold illegal for people to hold gold. He confiscated all the gold if you were stupid enough to give it. So then it was illegal for Americans to hold gold from 1932, thereabouts, all the way up to 1975 or 78, somewhere in that range when they made it legal again for Americans to hold gold. So there was 40 years where, primarily the boomers, right, where they saw no use for gold because gold was illegal. Why would you own gold? What was the benefit of gold? Gold was barbaric relic. So when gold came back on, you know, it's been manipulated, and it drives home that it's just like 1984, where good is bad, black is white. You know, 1984, basically what happens is the government, you know, love is war, you know, freedom is bondage, those type of stupid things. But that's really what we've become today. And when you go back and read these type of books, I mean, life back then was brutal. I mean, survival is what most people were worried about back then. Just a little bit over 100 years ago in the United States, more than 90% of the people in this country worked on a farm. That was their occupation, working on some sort of agriculture and farming. And it was because we needed all those bodies to survive. Look, I came up with this chapter, energy. Yeah, speaking of energy, energy is what freed us. I've said enough, but in the comments below, I'd be curious and interested to know what those words from Sun Tzu stirred in you. What did you think of? What can you satiate with current day events or recent history? Peace.